In the quiet suburban town of Willowbrook, nestled at the edge of a picturesque forest, lived a woman named Amelia. She was an amateur photographer with a passion for capturing the beauty of nature and the everyday moments of life. Her prized possession was an antique camera, a family heirloom passed down for generations. The camera had an aura of nostalgia about it, with its ornate design and brass fittings. It had seen decades of birthdays, weddings, and family gatherings, preserving memories with a timeless charm. But what made it truly special was its uncanny ability to capture the essence of a moment like no other camera could. Amelia's obsession with the camera grew as she marveled at the vivid and lifelike images it produced. She began spending more and more time perfecting her photography skills, often venturing deep into the nearby forest to capture the enchanting play of light and shadow. One gloomy evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long, eerie shadows through the trees, Amelia decided to explore the woods with her camera. She hoped to capture the mystique of the forest at twilight. As she ventured deeper into the woods, she stumbled upon an ancient, overgrown path that beckoned her forward. The air grew colder, and the whispering of the leaves became almost indistinguishable from faint, ghostly voices. Amelia, feeling a strange compulsion, followed the path until she reached a clearing. In the center stood an ominous, gnarled tree, its branches twisted into grotesque shapes. She raised her camera, focusing on the eerie sight, and snapped a picture. But as the camera's shutter clicked, a bone-chilling scream filled the air, and the tree seemed to come alive, its branches reaching toward her. Terrified, Amelia fled from the clearing, not daring to look back. When she finally reached her home, she realized something was horribly wrong. The photo she had taken displayed a nightmarish scene. The tree's branches had turned into skeletal arms, reaching out for her, and the scream seemed to be frozen in the photograph, emanating a sinister energy. As days passed, strange occurrences plagued Amelia's life. The sinister photograph haunted her, and she couldn't bring herself to destroy it. Whispers echoed through her house at night, shadows danced menacingly in her peripheral vision, and eerie figures lurked in the corners of her photographs, their eyes filled with malevolence. Desperate for answers, Amelia delved into the camera's history, discovering that her ancestors had used it to capture moments of great suffering and tragedy. It had absorbed the dark energy of the moments it had witnessed, and now it sought to inflict that torment on Amelia. Haunted and tormented, Amelia tried to rid herself of the cursed camera, but it always found its way back into her possession. The sinister secret of the camera had taken hold of her life, and there was no escape. She was trapped in a never-ending nightmare, forever capturing the horrors beyond the lens, unable to break free from the malevolent grip of the cursed camera. Amelia's once peaceful life spiraled into a living nightmare. She became a recluse, barricading herself in her home, her once beloved camera now a grotesque reminder of her torment. Her family and friends, sensing her growing madness, distanced themselves from her, leaving her alone to battle the malevolent forces that seemed to emanate from the cursed camera. Sleep-deprived and plagued by hallucinations, Amelia was on the brink of despair. Every night, she would hear the haunting melody of distant, mournful music that seemed to seep through the walls of her house. It was a melody that echoed with centuries-old sorrow, as if beckoning her to join the tormented souls trapped within it. One particularly moonless night, unable to bear the torment any longer, Amelia decided to confront the source of her suffering. She gathered her courage, took the cursed camera in trembling hands, and set out for the clearing in the forest where she had taken that fateful photograph. As she reached the clearing, the air grew thick with an oppressive darkness, and the gnarled tree stood before her like a malevolent sentinel. Amelia could feel the presence of the tortured souls from the photograph, their spectral eyes fixed upon her. Summoning all her strength, she raised the camera once more, determined to undo the curse. She focused on the cursed tree, whispered a desperate plea for forgiveness, and snapped a picture. This time, as the shutter clicked, the tree seemed to wither and crumble before her eyes, releasing a haunting wail that slowly faded into the night. Amelia returned home, trembling but hopeful, and examined the new photograph. To her astonishment, the tree had vanished entirely, replaced by a serene and tranquil forest scene. The malevolent energy that had plagued her was gone, leaving her with a sense of relief she hadn't felt in months. With the cursed camera now devoid of its dark power, Amelia decided to bury it deep within the forest, hoping that it would never trouble anyone again. As she walked away from the clearing, she could swear she heard the faintest whisper of gratitude on the wind. Over time, Amelia's life began to return to normal. She rekindled relationships with her family and friends, her photography once again a source of joy rather than torment. The haunted melody that had plagued her nights had ceased, and the sinister secrets of the camera had been buried alongside it. But Amelia knew that she would forever bear the scars of her encounter with the cursed camera. She had faced the sinister secret hidden within an ordinary object and emerged from the abyss, forever changed by her harrowing ordeal. And in the depths of the forest, the cursed camera remained, its malevolent power sealed away, waiting for another unsuspecting soul to stumble upon its dark secret. Story 2. In the quaint town of Willowbrook, nestled amidst rolling hills and lush forests, the Turner family lived in a charming old house that had been in their possession for generations. The house was adorned with antique furniture and peculiar relics, each holding a story of its own. But none was as unsettling as the ornate, full-length mirror in the hallway. At first glance, the mirror appeared like any other, its gilded frame reflecting the image of the narrow hallway. The Turners had grown accustomed to its presence, paying it little mind as they passed by each day. However, they couldn't ignore the unsettling feeling that washed over them when they caught their own reflections within it. It was as if the mirror held a dark secret it was itching to reveal. One crisp autumn evening, as the family gathered for dinner, young Lily Turner's curiosity got the best of her. She decided to investigate the mirror. As she approached it, she noticed a faint whispering sound, like the rustling of leaves on a calm night. Her reflection in the mirror seemed to beckon her closer, and she felt an irresistible urge to touch the glass. As her hand made contact with the mirror's surface, a bone-chilling coldness spread through her fingers and enveloped her entire body. She gasped, trying to pull away, but it was too late. The mirror seemed to come alive, and her reflection pulled her in. Inside the mirror, Lily found herself trapped in a twisted, nightmarish version of her home. The once familiar hallway was now a dark, endless corridor filled with eerie whispers. She could see her family on the other side, their faces etched with terror as they watched her struggle against her glassy prison. Desperate to escape, Lily ventured deeper into the mirror's realm, encountering grotesque versions of her family members who whispered cryptic warnings and pleas for help. Time seemed to bend and twist within the mirror, and Lily couldn't tell how long she had been trapped. Back in the real world, the Turner family sought the help of paranormal experts, but they could find no explanation for the mirror's malevolent power. They devised a plan to rescue Lily, using an ancient incantation passed down through generations. It would require the sacrifice of another object, an antique heirloom with a history as dark as the mirror itself. As the incantation was performed, the mirror's grip on Lily weakened, and with a final, anguished scream, she was freed. However, the mirror was forever altered, its malevolence transferred into the heirloom, which the Turners sealed away in a secret room. The mirror, now seemingly ordinary once more, remained in the hallway, a silent witness to the horrors it had caused. The Turner family would never forget the reflection of terror that lurked within its glass, a reminder that sometimes even the most innocent objects can harbor sinister secrets beyond imagination. Years passed, and the Turner family learned to live with the unsettling presence of the mirror in their home. They never spoke of the horrors that had occurred, burying the memories deep within their minds. The secret room containing the cursed heirloom was locked, its existence known only to a select few. Lily, now a young woman, had tried to move on from the traumatic experience of being trapped within the mirror. She left Willowbrook to attend college, hoping that distance would help her forget. But no matter where she went, she couldn't escape the feeling that the mirror's malevolence still lingered, watching and waiting. In her absence, the town of Willowbrook had changed as well. Stories of the Turner family's haunted mirror had spread through whispered tales and local legends. Visitors came from far and wide to see the infamous mirror, hoping to catch a glimpse of the supernatural. The house became a place of dark fascination, with some even attempting to break in and witness the mirror's eerie power for themselves. One stormy night, as the rain lashed against the windows and lightning illuminated the sky, a group of daring thrill-seekers gathered outside the Turner house. Armed with flashlights and trembling with anticipation, they planned to break in and confront the mirror's malevolence head-on. Inside the house, the remaining Turner family members heard the intruders approaching. Panic washed over them as they realized that the mirror's curse had attracted unwanted attention. Lily, who had returned home for a brief visit, knew they had to act quickly to prevent another tragedy. With resolve, Lily, her parents, and her now teenage brother, Daniel, gathered around the mirror. They recited the same incantation that had once saved Lily from its clutches, hoping it would once again transfer the mirror's malevolence, this time into an object of their choosing. As the intruders forced their way into the house, the mirror's surface began to ripple and contort. An ominous, dark energy emanated from it, swirling around the room. Just as the intruders reached the hallway, a blinding flash of light and an ear-piercing scream filled the air. When the light subsided, the mirror was still, and the curse was gone. Outside, the intruders were met with a chilling silence. They entered the hallway cautiously, only to find the mirror empty, its malevolence now sealed within a small, unassuming antique locket. Confused and terrified, they fled the house, vowing never to return. The Turner family breathed a sigh of relief, knowing that they had prevented another tragedy. They locked the locket away in the same secret room as the cursed heirloom, determined to keep it hidden from the world. The mirror, no longer a source of malevolence, remained in the hallway, reflecting the Turners' own reflections as they moved about their lives. It was a reminder that the horrors of the past could be contained, but never truly forgotten. And as for Lily, she understood that she would forever carry the weight of her bone-chilling encounter with the mirror's sinister secret, a tale she would share with cautionary whispers to those who dared to seek it out. Story 3. In the quiet suburbs of Greendale, the McGregor family lived in a charming two-story house filled with antique furniture and heirlooms passed down through generations. Among these treasures was an old grandfather clock that had stood in the living room for as long as anyone could remember. To the casual observer, it was just a beautifully carved timepiece, its hands frozen at midnight, its pendulum still. The McGregor family, John, Sarah, and their 2 children, Emily and David, cherished their home and the history it held. But as time passed, they couldn't help but notice peculiar occurrences linked to the silent grandfather clock. It began with faint whispers emanating from the clock's direction, voices barely audible but undeniably present. One fateful night, as the family gathered for a cozy dinner, they heard the clock's deep chimes echo through the house, despite the fact that it hadn't worked in decades. The children's eyes widened with fear, while John and Sarah exchanged anxious glances. The clock's hands, previously frozen, now moved erratically, spinning backward and forward as if dancing to an unseen tune. Terrifying dreams plagued the family that night, vivid nightmares filled with darkness and ominous figures. They awoke in cold sweats, unable to shake the feeling that something malevolent had taken residence within the grandfather clock. Desperate for answers, John consulted a local historian who told him of an old legend about a clockmaker named Ezekiel Blackwood, known for crafting timepieces that could manipulate time itself. Legend had it that Blackwood's most sinister creation had vanished without a trace, and many believed it was cursed. Intrigued and fearful, John delved into the history of the clockmaker, discovering that Blackwood's lost masterpiece was none other than the grandfather clock in his living room. It was said that those who possessed the clock would be haunted by their deepest fears and darkest memories until it was returned to its rightful place in Blackwood's abandoned workshop. The McGregor family decided to take matters into their own hands. They journeyed to the long-forgotten workshop deep in the woods, guided by a tattered map and the ominous whispers that seemed to emanate from the clock itself. The workshop was a decaying relic of the past, filled with dusty, broken clocks and eerie, lifelike mannequins that seemed to watch their every move. As they placed the clock back in its original spot, the workshop came alive with ghostly apparitions. Shadows danced on the walls, and the mannequins stirred to life, their glassy eyes fixed on the family. John and Sarah recited an incantation they had discovered, and the clock's hands finally stopped, returning to their midnight position. With a deafening cacophony of chimes, the workshop fell silent once more, and the apparitions faded away. The McGregor family left the abandoned workshop, relieved to have rid themselves of the cursed clock and the horrors it had brought into their lives. Back at home, the living room remained in peace, the grandfather clock forever frozen at midnight. The family couldn't forget the nightmarish events they had endured, but they took solace in knowing that they had put an end to the sinister secret harbored by the seemingly ordinary object in their home. The clock's curse was broken, and time, for them, resumed its steady, uneventful march forward. Years passed, and the McGregor family's life returned to normalcy. The sinister memories of the cursed clock had begun to fade, and they grew comfortable in the presence of the once dreaded timepiece, which now served as a symbol of their triumph over the supernatural. Emily and David had grown into young adults, and John and Sarah had embraced their roles as grandparents, sharing tales of their family's harrowing encounter with the clock with their grandchildren. The story became a cautionary tale passed down through the generations, a reminder of the dangers that could lurk within seemingly innocuous objects. But the clock had not entirely forgotten its past. Deep within its wooden frame, a faint whisper of malevolence remained, like a dormant beast waiting for the right moment to awaken. It bided its time, patient and cunning. One stormy night, as thunder rumbled and lightning illuminated the darkened living room, the clock's pendulum began to sway, its chimes ringing out once more. Emily, visiting her childhood home with her own family, awoke to the sound. She crept downstairs, her heart pounding, and found the clock's hands slowly ticking away, not to midnight, but to a time she couldn't recognize. As Emily reached out to touch the clock, a surge of icy dread washed over her. The clock's face contorted, revealing a sinister reflection of herself, distorted and malevolent. It whispered dark secrets, secrets that only she could hear, and promised her power beyond imagination. Emily resisted, her willpower stronger than the clock's dark allure. She remembered the family's history, the nightmares they had endured, and the sacrifices made to break the clock's curse. She knew she had to act quickly to prevent the malevolence from spreading once more. Rushing to the workshop deep in the woods, Emily's heart raced as she placed the cursed clock among the other clocks Blackwood had created. She recited the same incantation her parents had used, her voice trembling but resolute. The clocks in the workshop chimed in response, their hands spiraling wildly, and a powerful force of energy surged through the room. When the chimes subsided, the workshop fell silent, and Emily knew she had succeeded in containing the clock's malevolence once more. She left the workshop, locking it securely, and returned to her family, determined to keep the clock's dark secret hidden forever. The McGregor family, united once again in their resolve, decided to keep the clock locked away in a secret room where it could never harm anyone again. They sealed the room, vowing to never open it and to guard the cursed timepiece for generations to come. The clock remained hidden, frozen at a time known only to the McGregor family, its malevolence trapped within its wooden frame. They knew that the clock's sinister secret would always be a part of their family's history, a constant reminder of the darkness that could lurk within even the most seemingly ordinary objects. Story 4. In the peaceful suburban town of Millbrook, the Johnson family lived a contented life in their cozy, two-story home. The heart of their home was the nursery, where their young daughter, Sophie, spent her days playing with her beloved stuffed animals. Among these cuddly companions, one seemed out of place, a seemingly ordinary teddy bear. The bear was soft, with button eyes and a friendly smile stitched onto its face. Sophie had named it Mr. Cuddles, and it quickly became her constant companion. However, as time passed, the Johnsons noticed odd occurrences whenever Mr. Cuddles was around. The air in the room would turn frigid, and whispers would echo in the night, as if the bear itself was whispering sinister secrets to their daughter. One evening, as the family gathered for dinner, a chill descended upon the room, and the lights flickered. Sophie's eyes widened with fear as she looked at Mr. Cuddles, who sat on the floor, seemingly innocent. But then, the bear's smile seemed to widen into a sinister grin, its button eyes gleaming with malevolence. Terrifying events began to unfold. Objects in the house would move on their own, as if guided by an invisible hand. Sophie's nightmares grew increasingly vivid, filled with images of Mr. Cuddles, now monstrous and bloodthirsty. She would wake in the middle of the night, screaming about the bear's demands. Desperate to rid their home of the malevolent presence, the Johnsons sought the help of a local paranormal investigator named Evelyn Hart. Evelyn, known for her expertise in dealing with supernatural entities, conducted an investigation of the nursery. As she examined Mr. Cuddles, a chilling voice seemed to emanate from the bear itself. It demanded a sacrifice, a price for the peace it promised to bestow upon the family. Evelyn recognized the sinister energy enveloping the teddy bear and realized that it was not just any ordinary object. It was a vessel for a vengeful spirit. The spirit, it seemed, had been wronged in life and sought retribution through Sophie. The only way to appease it and save the family was to discover the spirit's true identity and fulfill its demand. Evelyn delved into the town's history and uncovered a tragic tale of a child named Timothy who had died under mysterious circumstances many years ago. Timothy's spirit had been trapped within the teddy bear as a result of a malevolent curse placed by a vengeful neighbor. With this knowledge, Evelyn conducted a seance, connecting with Timothy's restless spirit through Mr. Cuddles. She learned that Timothy's death had been unjust, and he sought vengeance against those responsible for his suffering. The Johnsons, filled with empathy, promised to right the wrongs of the past. They tracked down the descendants of the neighbor who had cursed Timothy, and they made amends, bringing closure to the lingering spirit. As the years passed, Mr. Cuddles no longer harbored the malevolent presence that had plagued the Johnsons. Instead, it became a symbol of forgiveness and redemption. Sophie continued to cherish her beloved bear, unaware of the darkness that had once resided within it. The Johnsons knew that even seemingly innocent objects could harbor sinister secrets, and they shared their bone-chilling tale with friends and family as a warning that not all teddy bears were as innocent as they appeared. In the end, they had turned a malevolent force into a force for good, but the memory of Mr. Cuddles' sinister secret would forever linger in the shadows of their home. Years passed, and the Johnson family's home returned to a sense of normalcy. Sophie grew into a bright and imaginative young woman, her childhood experiences with Mr. Cuddles fading into the distant past. They carefully preserved the teddy bear, even though its dark secret had been quelled. As Sophie reached her teenage years, she became interested in her family's history and the stories of the supernatural. She asked her parents about the tale of Mr. Cuddles and the vengeful spirit of Timothy, and they decided it was time to share the story with her, not to frighten her, but to teach her about the importance of empathy and understanding. Moved by the story, Sophie felt a deep connection with Mr. Cuddles, now seen as a symbol of redemption and forgiveness. She decided to study psychology and later became a therapist, specializing in helping individuals overcome trauma and unresolved issues from their past. She saw Mr. Cuddles as a reminder that even the darkest secrets could be unraveled and healed with the right approach. One evening, as Sophie was counseling a troubled client, she noticed a familiar unease in their demeanor, a feeling she remembered from her childhood. She asked the client about any objects or experiences that might be causing distress, and they reluctantly revealed a tale of a seemingly ordinary item in their home, a porcelain doll that seemed to move on its own, accompanied by eerie whispers. Sophie knew she had the knowledge and experience to help her client confront their own supernatural encounter. She listened carefully to their story and recognized the telltale signs of a malevolent presence. Drawing upon her family's history and her own journey, she decided to assist her client in seeking resolution. Together, they embarked on a journey to uncover the doll's sinister secret and the restless spirit that dwelled within it. They researched local history and uncovered a tragic story of a young girl who had died under mysterious circumstances, her spirit trapped within the porcelain doll by an act of dark magic. Guided by Sophie's expertise and compassion, they conducted a seance, connecting with the trapped spirit and learning the truth about her tragic past. With empathy and understanding, they helped the spirit find peace and closure, releasing her from the doll's porcelain prison. As the doll's malevolent energy dissipated, Sophie's client felt a weight lifted from their shoulders. They thanked Sophie for her guidance and support, forever grateful for her ability to transform their terrifying ordeal into a story of healing and redemption. In the end, Sophie's life had come full circle, from being the recipient of supernatural assistance to becoming the one who provided it. She knew that even seemingly ordinary objects could hold dark secrets, but with empathy, understanding, and a willingness to confront the past, those secrets could be revealed, and the spirits within could find peace. Mr. Cuddles had not only brought her family closer together, but had also inspired her life's purpose, to help others find solace and resolution in the face of the unknown. Story 5. Nestled in the picturesque town of Ravenscroft, the Mitchell family resided in a charming Victorian-era house that had been passed down through generations. Their home was adorned with antique furniture, paintings, and relics that whispered tales of a bygone era. Among their treasures was a delicate porcelain teapot, seemingly unremarkable at first glance. The teapot was a cherished heirloom, adorned with delicate floral patterns and glistening with gold trim. Mrs. Eleanor Mitchell, a widow in her late 50s, had always considered it a family keepsake and displayed it proudly in her glass cabinet. Little did she know that the teapot held a sinister secret that would soon cast a shadow over her peaceful life. One tranquil afternoon, as Mrs. Mitchell prepared a pot of tea for herself, she noticed a faint whispering sound emanating from the teapot. She brushed it off as a trick of the wind or her imagination, but the whispers persisted, growing louder and more insistent. It was as if the teapot itself was trying to communicate. Over time, the whispers evolved into eerie voices, speaking in hushed, cryptic tones that sent shivers down Mrs. Mitchell's spine. She couldn't decipher the words, but the sinister tone filled her with dread. The teapot's surface seemed to ripple, as though something dark and malevolent lurked within. One evening, as Mrs. Mitchell hosted a small tea party with her closest friends, the teapot's lid suddenly popped open of its own accord. The room plunged into darkness, and a freezing wind swept through, extinguishing the candles. Terrified, her guests fled, vowing never to return to her home. As Mrs. Mitchell delved into the teapot's history, she discovered that it had once belonged to a notorious witch named Matilda Blackwood, who had been rumored to dabble in dark and forbidden magic. The teapot was said to have been cursed, a vessel for imprisoning malevolent spirits that Matilda had summoned. Desperate to rid herself of the teapot's sinister influence, Mrs. Mitchell sought the assistance of a local paranormal investigator, Dr. Samuel Wright. Dr. Wright had dealt with cases of cursed objects before and recognized the gravity of the situation. Together, they conducted a seance to communicate with the trapped spirits within the teapot. It was during this seance that the spirits revealed their unholy intent to seek vengeance on the descendants of those who had wronged Matilda Blackwood. The spirits demanded retribution, and they would stop at nothing to achieve it. Realizing the grave danger they were in, Mrs. Mitchell and Dr. Wright embarked on a perilous quest to uncover the truth about Matilda Blackwood's history and her connection to their family. They discovered a dark secret. Mrs. Mitchell's great-great-grandfather had been one of the accusers during Matilda's witch trial, leading to a wrongful execution. In an act of penance, Mrs. Mitchell visited Matilda's unmarked grave, leaving offerings and a heartfelt apology for the sins of her ancestor. Dr. Wright performed a powerful exorcism to release the malevolent spirits from the teapot and guide them towards the light. With the spirits gone, the teapot's malevolence faded, and it returned to its ordinary appearance. The ominous whispers ceased, and the Mitchell home once again embraced peace and tranquility. Though the family kept the teapot, they displayed it as a somber reminder of the past and the importance of confronting history's darkest deeds. Mrs. Mitchell had learned that even the most seemingly ordinary objects could harbor sinister secrets, and it was her duty to ensure that such secrets were never forgotten. Years passed, and the Mitchell family's home remained a place of serenity, free from the malevolent influence of the unholy teapot. They continued to display it as a symbol of their family's history, a stark reminder of the darkness that could lurk within even the most seemingly ordinary objects. Mrs. Mitchell had grown wiser with age and had become a respected historian in her community, specializing in the study of local legends and folklore. She dedicated herself to preserving the stories of those who had been wronged by history and to uncovering the truth behind the mysteries of the past. One day, as she was researching a new project, Mrs. Mitchell stumbled upon an old diary tucked away in her family's archives. It belonged to Matilda Blackwood, the witch whose curse had once haunted the teapot. With trembling hands, she began to read Matilda's entries, gaining insight into the life and struggles of a woman who had been unjustly accused and condemned. As Mrs. Mitchell delved deeper into Matilda's story, she realized that there was more to the tale than met the eye. Matilda had been a healer, a wise woman who had used her knowledge of herbs and remedies to help her community. The accusations of witchcraft had arisen from fear and superstition, fueled by the personal vendettas of a few influential townspeople. Determined to set the record straight and seek justice for Matilda's memory, Mrs. Mitchell embarked on a mission to clear her name. She researched historical records, gathered evidence of Matilda's benevolent deeds, and shared her findings with the townspeople. Slowly but surely, the truth began to emerge. Matilda Blackwood was posthumously exonerated, her name cleared of the false accusations that had tarnished her reputation for centuries. The town erected a memorial in her honor, recognizing her as a healer and wise woman unjustly persecuted by the past. The unholy teapot, once a symbol of darkness, was now seen in a new light, a symbol of redemption and a reminder of the importance of confronting and rectifying historical injustices. It remained in the Mitchell family's possession, serving as a beacon of hope and a testament to their commitment to seeking truth and justice. Mrs. Mitchell's work as a historian continued as she dedicated her life to uncovering and preserving the stories of those who had been forgotten or wronged by history. She knew that the past held many secrets, both dark and hidden, and it was her mission to shed light on them, ensuring that the sins of the past would never be repeated. In the end, the unholy teapot had served as a catalyst for a deeper understanding of history, a reminder that even the most sinister secrets could be unraveled, and that justice could prevail even centuries after the fact. The Mitchell family's commitment to this cause became their legacy, a testament to the enduring power of redemption and the importance of confronting the past with courage and compassion. Story 6. In the tranquil town of Crestwood, the Williams family lived in a charming cottage that had been in their lineage for generations. Their home was filled with cherished heirlooms and antiquities, but none were as captivating as the antique music box that sat on the living room mantel. The music box was a delicate work of art adorned with intricate hand-painted scenes of a bygone era. Its gentle melody had lulled generations to sleep and provided solace during times of sorrow. To the Williams family, it was a treasured relic of their history, a symbol of their enduring love for the arts and music. One peaceful evening, as Mrs. Williams sat alone in the living room, she noticed a faint, haunting melody drifting through the air. At first, she believed it to be a distant memory resurfacing, but the music persisted, growing louder and more dissonant with each passing moment. It was as though the music box had come to life on its own. Fearful and bewildered, Mrs. Williams approached the music box and watched in horror as it slid open of its own accord, revealing the ornate interior. The haunting melody intensified, becoming a cacophony of discordant notes that echoed through the room. The once beautiful hand-painted scenes on the music box's surface seemed to warp and twist, taking on grotesque and nightmarish forms. Terrifying events began to unfold within the Williams household. The dissonant melodies seemed to seep into the very walls, causing strange occurrences and unhinging their minds. Shadows danced in the corners of their vision, whispers filled the air, and unsettling nightmares haunted their sleep. Desperate to unravel the mystery of the malevolent music box, Mr. Williams sought the help of Dr. Emily Harper, a renowned paranormal investigator and scholar of the supernatural. Dr. Harper had dealt with cases of cursed objects before and knew the grave danger they posed. Together, they embarked on a journey to uncover the music box's sinister secret. Through their research, they discovered that the music box had once belonged to a tormented composer named Alexander van der Linde, who had been plagued by madness and despair. It was said that the music box had absorbed the torment of his soul, cursing it with dissonance and chaos. Dr. Harper realized that the only way to break the curse was to find a way to bring peace to Alexander van der Linde's tormented spirit. She conducted a seance, connecting with the restless composer's soul, and learned of his tragic life and the unresolved pain that had bound him to the music box. Determined to free the Williams family from the music box's malevolent influence, they embarked on a perilous quest to locate Alexander's unmarked grave and give him the proper burial he had been denied. It was an arduous journey, filled with challenges and supernatural obstacles. Finally, at the composer's gravesite, they performed a solemn ceremony, laying Alexander van der Linde's spirit to rest and returning the music box to a state of peaceful silence. As the final notes of the dissonant melody faded away, the grotesque scenes on its surface transformed back into the delicate hand-painted images of its past. The Williams family breathed a collective sigh of relief, grateful that the curse had been broken and that their home had returned to its peaceful state. The music box, once a harbinger of madness, was now a symbol of redemption and a reminder of the importance of resolving the torment of the past. As years passed, the music box continued to grace the Williams family's living room mantel, its haunting melody forever silenced. They knew that even the most seemingly ordinary objects could harbor sinister secrets, and it was their duty to ensure that such secrets were confronted and vanquished, allowing peace and harmony to prevail in their home. Once more years passed, and the Williams family's home remained a sanctuary of tranquility, free from the malevolent influence of the antique music box. They continued to cherish the music box, not as a source of fear, but as a testament to their resilience and the power of redemption. As time went by, the Williams family shared their bone-chilling tale with friends and family, not to frighten, but to emphasize the importance of acknowledging and resolving the unresolved pain of the past. They learned that confronting the darkness within their own history had not only brought peace to their home, but it also allowed them to heal and grow stronger as a family. Dr. Emily Harper continued her work as a paranormal investigator, using the lessons learned from the case of the music box to assist others in need. She understood that even seemingly ordinary objects could be vessels for the unresolved pain of the past, and she dedicated herself to helping spirits find peace and redemption. One day, as Dr. Harper was conducting research in her office, she received a mysterious package. Inside was a letter written in elegant script and an antique violin bow, its strings broken and its wood worn with age. The letter explained that the bow had once belonged to a renowned violinist named Isabella Montague, who had been unjustly accused of a crime she did not commit and had died in despair. Moved by the letter, Dr. Harper realized that the bow was more than just a relic. It was a vessel for the tormented spirit of Isabella Montague. The broken strings of the violin bow represented the shattered dreams and unfulfilled potential of the talented musician. With a sense of duty and compassion, Dr. Harper embarked on a new journey to uncover the truth about Isabella Montague's tragic life and clear her name. She hoped that by bringing peace to the restless spirit, she could also mend the broken bow and restore the beautiful music it once produced. As she delved into Isabella's history, Dr. Harper uncovered a tale of jealousy and betrayal that had led to Isabella's downfall. The injustice of her life and untimely death had left a profound mark on her spirit, and she yearned for redemption. With each discovery, Dr. Harper came closer to unraveling the mystery of Isabella Montague's life and death. She reached out to Isabella's descendants, who had been unaware of their family's tragic history, and together they sought to clear Isabella's name and restore her legacy as a brilliant musician. In the end, Isabella Montague's story was brought to light, and her name was cleared of the false accusations that had haunted her memory for generations. The broken violin bow, once a symbol of despair, was restored, and its strings sang with hauntingly beautiful melodies, echoing Isabella's talent and the redemption of her spirit. Dr. Emily Harper knew that her work was far from over, but she also knew that with each case she resolved, she brought solace to tormented spirits and allowed them to find peace. The lessons learned from the music box had guided her in her quest to bring redemption to the restless souls who sought her help, reminding her that even the darkest secrets could be unveiled and resolved with compassion and determination. Story 7. In the quaint village of Waverly, the Thompson family resided in an ancient stone cottage. Their home was adorned with antiques and curiosities collected over generations, but none was as captivating as the ornate antique mirror that hung in the hallway. The mirror was an exquisite work of craftsmanship, its ornate frame adorned with intricate carvings and mysterious symbols. To the Thompsons, it was a cherished family heirloom, passed down through the ages. Little did they know that the mirror held a sinister secret that would soon plunge their lives into darkness. One chilly evening, as Mr. Thompson passed by the mirror, he noticed an unsettling movement in its reflection, a fleeting glimpse of a shadowy figure, its eyes filled with malice. He brushed it off as a trick of the light or his imagination, but the sinister presence persisted, appearing and disappearing at the edge of his vision. As days turned into weeks, the mirror's ominous reflections became more pronounced, revealing ghastly visages and nightmarish scenes. The Thompsons began to experience unsettling phenomena, from strange whispers in the night to objects moving on their own accord. Fear tightened its grip on their home. Desperate for answers, Mrs. Thompson sought the help of a local paranormal investigator named Dr. Amelia Foster. Dr. Foster was known for her expertise in dealing with supernatural phenomena and understood the grave danger that cursed objects posed. Together, they delved into the mirror's history, unearthing a tale of a tormented artist named Lucius Blackwood, who had crafted the mirror as a conduit for his darkest emotions and desires. It was said that the mirror had absorbed the essence of his torment, becoming a vessel for malevolent spirits trapped within. Dr. Foster realized that the only way to break the mirror's curse was to confront the tormented spirits within and offer them a path to redemption. She conducted a seance, connecting with the trapped souls and learning of their tragic stories and the pain that bound them to the mirror. Determined to free the Thompson family from the mirror's malevolent influence, they embarked on a perilous quest to locate the final resting places of the tormented souls and perform the rituals necessary to grant them peace. The journey took them to forgotten graveyards and desolate ruins, where they encountered malevolent entities and faced numerous challenges. But with unwavering determination and courage, they succeeded in freeing the tormented spirits one by one, granting them the peace they had long sought. As the last spirit was released from the mirror, the malevolent presence that had haunted the Thompsons' home dissipated, and the mirror itself underwent a transformation. The ominous symbols on its frame faded, replaced by delicate patterns of flowers and vines. The Thompsons breathed a collective sigh of relief, grateful that the curse had been broken and their home had returned to its peaceful state. The mirror, once a harbinger of despair, was now a symbol of redemption and a reminder of the importance of confronting and resolving the torment of the past. As years passed, the mirror continued to grace the Thompsons' hallway, its once ominous presence replaced by a sense of serenity. They knew that even the most seemingly ordinary objects could harbor sinister secrets, and it was their duty to ensure that such secrets were confronted and vanquished, allowing peace and harmony to prevail in their home. Once more years passed, and the Thompson family's home remained a sanctuary of tranquility, free from the malevolent influence of the antique mirror. They continued to display the mirror, not as a source of fear, but as a symbol of their resilience and the power of redemption. As time went by, the Thompson family shared their bone-chilling tale with friends and family, not to frighten, but to emphasize the importance of confronting the darkness of the past and offering redemption to tormented souls. They learned that by facing their own history, they had not only brought peace to their home, but had also contributed to the healing of others who had faced similar curses. Dr. Amelia Foster continued her work as a paranormal investigator, using the lessons learned from the case of the mirror to assist others in need. She understood that even seemingly ordinary objects could become vessels for the unresolved pain of the past, and she dedicated herself to helping spirits find peace and redemption. One day, as Dr. Foster was conducting research in her office, she received an unexpected visitor. A woman in her late 30s, Emily, approached Dr. Foster with a request for assistance. She explained that her family had recently acquired an antique piano, and since its arrival, their home had been plagued by strange occurrences and eerie music that seemed to emanate from nowhere. Recognizing the signs of a cursed object, Dr. Foster agreed to investigate the piano and its malevolent influence. She soon discovered that the piano had once belonged to a talented composer named Eliza Hartwell, who had suffered a tragic and untimely death. It was said that the piano had absorbed the sorrow and unfinished compositions of Eliza's tormented soul. With Emily's help, Dr. Foster connected with the restless spirit of Eliza through a seance. They learned of her unfulfilled dreams and her yearning to complete her final masterpiece. The piano had become a prison for her spirit, and she longed for a chance at redemption. Determined to offer Eliza the peace she sought, they embarked on a journey to uncover the missing pieces of her final composition and perform it in a place of significance. It was a challenging quest, filled with obstacles and supernatural encounters. Finally, in a long-abandoned concert hall, they discovered the missing sheet music, hidden away for decades. With trembling hands, Emily played the hauntingly beautiful composition on the cursed piano. As the final notes echoed through the hall, a sense of serenity washed over them. The malevolent presence within the piano dissipated, and the instrument itself transformed, its once ominous appearance becoming ornate and beautiful. Eliza's spirit was finally at peace, her tormented soul redeemed through the completion of her final masterpiece. Dr. Amelia Foster knew that her work was far from over, but she also knew that with each case she resolved, she brought solace to tormented spirits and allowed them to find peace. The lessons learned from the cursed mirror had guided her in her quest to bring redemption to those who sought her help, reminding her that even the darkest secrets could be unraveled, and that justice and compassion could prevail, even in the world of the supernatural. Story 8. Nestled in the sleepy town of Willowbrook, the Mitchell family resided in a charming Victorian-era home. Their house was adorned with antique furnishings and heirlooms, but none captured their fascination like the magnificent grandfather clock that stood proudly in the hallway. The clock was a towering masterpiece, its polished oak frame adorned with intricate carvings. It had been passed down through generations and was cherished by the Mitchells as a symbol of time's enduring passage. Little did they know that the clock held a sinister secret that would soon shatter their peace. One stormy night, as the clock's pendulum swung with metronomic precision, Mr. Mitchell awoke to a bone-chilling sound. The clock's chimes had taken on a discordant and haunting tone. The familiar melody had transformed into a dissonant cacophony, filling the house with an eerie and unsettling aura. Assuming it was a temporary malfunction, Mr. Mitchell tried to ignore the disturbing chimes. But the clock's dissonance persisted, growing louder and more unsettling with each passing night. Shadows danced in its dimly lit chamber, and strange whispers filled the air. Terrified and sleep-deprived, the Mitchell family reached out to Dr. Victoria Lambert, a renowned paranormal investigator known for her expertise in dealing with supernatural phenomena. Dr. Lambert recognized the severity of the situation and agreed to investigate. Together, they embarked on a journey to uncover the clock's sinister secret. Through their research, they discovered that the clock had once belonged to a reclusive clockmaker named Edgar Monroe, known for his fascination with dark and forbidden arts. Legend had it that Edgar had placed a malevolent curse upon the clock, binding tormented spirits to its mechanisms. Dr. Lambert realized that the only way to break the curse was to confront the tormented spirits within and offer them a path to redemption. She conducted a seance, connecting with the trapped souls and learning of their tragic stories and the pain that bound them to the clock. Determined to free the Mitchell family from the clock's malevolent influence, they embarked on a perilous quest to locate the final resting places of the tormented spirits and perform the rituals necessary to grant them peace. Their journey led them to forgotten graveyards and desolate ruins, where they encountered malevolent entities and faced numerous challenges. But with unwavering determination and courage, they succeeded in freeing the tormented spirits one by one, granting them the peace they had long sought. As the last spirit was released from the clock, the malevolent presence that had haunted the Mitchell household dissipated, and the clock itself underwent a transformation. Its chimes returned to their soothing melody, and the eerie shadows within its chamber vanished. The Mitchell family breathed a collective sigh of relief, grateful that the curse had been broken and their home had returned to its peaceful state. The grandfather clock, once a harbinger of despair, was now a symbol of redemption and a reminder of the importance of confronting and resolving the torment of the past. As years passed, the clock continued to stand proudly in the Mitchell hallway, its once ominous presence replaced by a sense of serenity. They knew that even the most seemingly ordinary objects could harbor sinister secrets, and it was their duty to ensure that such secrets were confronted and vanquished, allowing peace and harmony to prevail in their home. Once more years passed, and the Mitchell family's home remained a sanctuary of tranquility, free from the malevolent influence of the grandfather clock. They continued to cherish the clock, not as a source of fear, but as a symbol of their resilience and the power of redemption. As time went by, the Mitchell family shared their bone-chilling tale with friends and family, not to frighten, but to emphasize the importance of confronting the darkness of the past and offering redemption to tormented souls. They learned that by facing their own history, they had not only brought peace to their home, but had also contributed to the healing of others who had faced similar curses. Dr. Victoria Lambert continued her work as a paranormal investigator, using the lessons learned from the case of the clock to assist others in need. She understood that even seemingly ordinary objects could become vessels for the unresolved pain of the past, and she dedicated herself to helping spirits find peace and redemption. One day, as Dr. Lambert was conducting research in her office, she received an unexpected visitor. A woman in her 40s, Sarah, approached Dr. Lambert with a plea for help. She explained that her family had recently moved into a historic mansion and had discovered an old oil painting in the attic that seemed to radiate an eerie presence. Recognizing the signs of a cursed object, Dr. Lambert agreed to investigate the painting and its malevolent influence. She soon discovered that the painting had once been the work of a talented artist named Eleanor Gray, who had suffered a tragic and unexplained death. It was said that the painting had absorbed the despair and unresolved emotions of Eleanor's tormented soul. With Sarah's assistance, Dr. Lambert connected with the restless spirit of Eleanor through a seance. They learned of her unfulfilled dreams and her yearning to complete her final masterpiece. The painting had become a prison for her spirit, and she longed for a chance at redemption. Determined to offer Eleanor the peace she sought, they embarked on a journey to uncover the missing pieces of her final artwork and bring her masterpiece to life. It was a challenging quest, filled with obstacles and supernatural encounters. Finally, in an abandoned art studio, they discovered the missing components of Eleanor's painting and carefully restored the masterpiece to its original glory. As the last brushstroke was applied, a sense of serenity washed over them. The malevolent presence within the painting dissipated, and the artwork itself underwent a transformation. Its once ominous and dark imagery transformed into a breathtaking masterpiece, a reflection of Eleanor's talent and the redemption of her spirit. Dr. Victoria Lambert knew that her work was far from over, but she also knew that with each case she resolved, she brought solace to tormented spirits and allowed them to find peace. The lessons learned from the cursed grandfather clock had guided her in her quest to bring redemption to those who sought her help, reminding her that even the darkest secrets could be unraveled, and that justice and compassion could prevail, even in the world of the supernatural.